Hello, everyone, and welcome to another video here on the Cycling Dane Extra channel, or if you're listening on the Cycling Dane podcast. Today, Patrick and myself continue our journey through the Vuelta a España recaps, and this is stage 3. And Patrick, what exactly happened on this stage? And of course, we heard about Visma bike with the stolen bikes, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will get to that. Stage 3 of the Vuelta a España took us from San Maurizio Calabrese to Ceres, or Caras. Apologies, but anyway. We had a very small breakaway off the front today. There were only 4 people. There was Patrick Gamper, Alessandro Vela, who was wearing the Mountains Classification lead jersey on behalf of Jonas Vingegaard. There was also Sean Quinn and some other rider. Can't remember who it was. Anyway, they only had a small gap, probably a minute and 30. Being led by Lidl-Trek, they were keeping it on a very small gap. That went out to about 2.5 minutes before the base of the major climb of the day, which was the Isiglio climb. 5.8 Ks at 6.5%, but this first 4 Ks were a bit steeper, probably more like averaging 7 to 8%. We see there Lidl-Trek putting the squeeze on just a little bit, just kind of turning the screw incrementally up the climb through Globlag Zabir. Mainly was the rider started off with Hola. And we did see some riders going off the back, some riders in difficulty. Everybody did make it back on though. Then we're going to the intermediate sprint. This was the main reason Lidl-Trek were pacing, because after the descent of this climb, there was the intermediate sprint. That was won by Sean Quinn. And then Alessandro Vela got second place. Then we see the other 2 riders from a breakaway just about got caught. Lidl-Trek with absolute perfect timing. Caught then. So Pedersen gets 3rd place, getting 15 points. And then Ciccone and Vingegaard are not realising, I think, that the bonus seconds had already gone from that stage after that intermediate sprint. Sprinted for 4th and 5th place. But they're going to get intermediate sprint points from that, and up for the green jersey as well. Then we just had a pretty steady, gradual uphill all the way to the finish line, which started really mainly with about 10 kilometers to go. We see Philipsen at the back, and then eventually he dropped with probably 8 kilometers to go, clearly showing that he wasn't going to be competing in today and just saving his legs for tomorrow. But up towards the front of the peloton, we're seeing a real mix, actually, of the sprinter teams are starting to burn through their riders faster and faster, and we see more and more GC riders coming up towards the front as a consequence of that. Not just because they're wanting to stay up towards the front for a safety standpoint, but from the perspective, it looks like they are going for the stage win as well. Mainly with Visma bike, with Kampenarts and Jorgensen. They're clearly looking for Vingegaard to try and get some more bonus seconds today. But Pedersen was still there. He was the main favourite, still towards the front. Lidl-Trek through Sonclau, Baggioli, and then even Ciccone actually taking it up as well inside the last kilometre. But obviously he was helping Pedersen, but also wanting to save a little bit, I think, for his own sprint at the end, because he saw it as a good opportunity to try and overhaul Jonas Vingegaard, who beat him yesterday. There's the hairpin with about 900 meters to go. They go up for another 700 meters, and then there's another hairpin of 150 meters to go. We see Pedersen leading into that. I think then it was Vingegaard, then Gaudu on his wheel. There was also Alois Alois was up there too. But we see Gaudu dive bomb Vingegaard, and then as the cameras are just about kind of switching to the finish line, we see that going to the line, it's Gaudu head to head with none other than Mads Pedersen, and you'd think in any sort of straight race, Pedersen's dusting him off, because there's no way that David Gaudu can beat a sprinter guy uphill. Well, if you remember back to the Dauphiné a few years ago, where Gaudu managed to beat Wout van Aert on an uphill sprint. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has happened again, because David Gaudu takes the win today in front of Mads Pedersen, Jonas Vingegaard, Giulio Ciccone, Jordan Labrosse, Alois Alois, Santiago Boitlago, Egan Bernal, Bjorn Kort in 9th. Big up Yorkshire. And Jai Hindley rounding out the top 10. I think everybody in the cycling world just sort of stopped for a second, bewildered, confused, didn't quite know what was going on. I had to check, I looked out the window just to see if everything was still, the sun was still in the sky. Crazy result.
Yeah, David Gaudu single-handedly beat the 2 big kings of Danish cycling in one small uphill. Yeah, kudos, chapeau, whatever you want to say to David Gaudu. He's really getting some form here. It's good to see, because we've been missing that. The man who's finished top 5 in the Tour before former Tour de l'Avenir winner as well. And yeah, really, really impressive. Do you think he's gonna? Well, this form he's been showing on these two stages. Obviously, there's still many more stages to go, but this is quite good for David Gaudu and Groupama FDJ after losing Guillaume Martin that we kind of glanced over yesterday. We didn't give it too much thought. Sorry, Guillaume. But yeah, Patrick, David Gaudu, serious contender here. He's been up here in the Vuelta before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you are right. Last year he was 6th place overall. He got a 2nd place behind Roglic on stage 19. So he isn't inadvertent. Like, he's not opposed to peaking for a bit of Vuelta. And yeah, he's really shown it. Honestly, caught me by surprise. It's not, like I said earlier, it's not a complete surprise. He has beaten Wout van Aert in an uphill sprint. He was 2nd in the first stage of the Tour de l'Ain early this year. And like he's had little flashes of form, but this was not the Gaudu that I was expecting in this race. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm more than happy to see Gaudu doing well, and I still can't get my head around that he beat Mads Pedersen. Lidl-Trek, I think, will be surprised, probably just as shocked as the rest of us, and probably a little bit annoyed because they worked so hard today. But Gaudu, fair play to him, just did that amazing dive bomb of the final corner and then just beat one of the best uphill sprinters on that sort of terrain. So you can't deny it. That was just incredible from Gaudu.
Yeah, well remembered with the Wout van Aert one as well. Do you think Lidl-Trek are going to be a bit annoyed about this? This is 2 days now where they've done a lot of work and just missing out in the final moments by 2 climbers. Ciccone yesterday, just edged out by Jonas Vingegaard today. Mads Pedersen, just can't catch a break, Lidl-Trek.
No, they can't, can they? Especially like you say, they put so much work in today, and I have a big thing, like I said in the recap yesterday, was whether they were going to pace that climb hard to drop Philipsen just full stop to get him out of the back, but clearly they did it in such a good way where they managed to stop Philipsen competing in the intermediate sprint and tied him out enough so that he wasn't going to compete for the finish. And it looked like for all money that Pedersen was just going to win this easily. He was just going to, do a big acceleration with 300 meters to go, get into that corner first, and then just blast out. And it was just going to be an easy Pedersen win. But yeah, 2 days in a row now, they've been beaten to 2nd place by different people. I think they'll be hoping for a change of fortune, maybe even tomorrow. I don't know, but they'll be wanting to get that win because they've put in a lot of work into this Vuelta so far, and I think that they are deserving of a stage win. So hopefully it comes their way soon.
The Vuelta doesn't work like that, Patrick. The Vuelta doesn't care about your deserving. It's like, no win for you. Yeah, I mean, in the points classification, though, how does that change the picture a bit? As you said, Jasper Philipsen went out the back, so a lot of points. We saw Vingegaard was up there in the intermediate sprint, so that was interesting. So what does that kind of do for that competition? We were talking maybe it's going to be Mads Pedersen versus Jasper Philipsen versus Jonas Vingegaard, which would be quite an exciting battle. But yeah, what does it do to that competition?
At the moment, after the end of this stage, Vingegaard actually is in the lead of the competition with 65 points. Then Ciccone is in 2nd, Gaudu is in 3rd, Philipsen 4th, and Pedersen in 5th place. I think that will likely change tomorrow, given the the flatter finish. I think that's definitely more suited to the sprinters. I don't think you'll see Gaudu, Ciccone, or Vingegaard competing for it. But stranger things have happened. And it is a strange one, isn't it? This is going to be a big battle between these sprinters and just the GC contenders continually being able to get those points at the uphill finishes. So, yeah, it's definitely not a done deal that the sprinters are going to win this. It's going to be a hard-fought battle. And, I mean, gosh, yeah, Vingegaard, Ciccone, Gaudu. Who would have thought that would have been the fight for the green jersey at the beginning of this race?
Yeah, we did mention in the preview show as well, Roglic has won this. And then, yeah, like you said, there's not that many opportunities. It's not skewed that much to the sprinters. But, I mean, all that aside, Visma Lisa bike, yeah, they were quite good at, as we know, in the finale, they're good at managing Vingegaard. But we'll talk about that later. But that's not really the big story that came out of today. That was that Visma Lease bike, suddenly 250,000 euros worth of cycling equipment was gone. We've seen this a lot during the tour. It happened in Cofidis. I still don't understand why this is an issue, because can't you just hire bouncers or big, scary looking guys to guard your bikes for 9 hours in the night? Or maybe those are the guys who run away with the bikes. I don't know. I'm sure this is very solvable. I remember at some point they were parking vans in front of the trucks, because this is a thing that's been going on for many years. It's not just now, not just in the tour, not just this year. But yeah, what did you make of that? And I feel very sorry for the mechanics of this Melissa bike, because they clean these bikes. They make them as if they're new for every single stage, the back work that we don't see. So yeah, those are probably the people you should feel most sorry for.
It's a real shame, isn't it, really? Just an extra complication to throw into not just an already difficult sporting event, is to throw in a logistical issue of having bikes stolen. I mean, thank goodness they had enough to start the day, but I don't really know what happens with it now. And hopefully they just get them back. And like you say, hopefully it's the sort of thing that doesn't happen again. Like you say, I definitely remember, I swear it's even happened like this year in some other race. I remember like Cofidis losing their bikes to something. It might have been another team, but I swear Cofidis have lost their bikes in the past. Yeah, it just seems a bit of a shame that, like, you can just imagine, like, I've, been in a Finnish town and you see the teams parked outside of like hotels and stuff, and it's just like despicable that people take that as an opportunity to go and break into teams' property and go and steal their bikes. Just like, come on, like, what has the human race come to? We should just go crawl back into the oceans where we came from.
Yeah, I'm quite interested with the logistics, how this, like, okay, them stealing the bikes, how they get rid of them, I have no idea, because it's not the most easy bikes, but also, like, I think they'll have to get all the Cervelo. Obviously, Cervelo gives them the bike, so it's not coming out of Visma Lisa bike, but I think it'll all have to come from their HQ in the Netherlands, or if they did have enough bikes at the race, it's fine, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get more coming in. But yeah, just a logistical nightmare, like you said, not really something you want in the mix of it. But yeah, what did you make of Visma Lease bike through this stage? Because obviously they have the red jersey now, and looking very comfortable in it.
Yeah, I think they just played their cards right today. They allowed Lidl-Trek to control the race because they had a bigger vested interest, and at the end they had a lot of firepower left over. Campanarts through Jorgensen, and then through Tullet. They absolutely shredded the peloton down in the space of 1.5 kilometers, really. And I thought they did a really good job of just playing off of Lidl-Trek's work and then capitalising on that themselves. You could say, okay, they came third today, that's good, but they lost seconds to Gaudu. Is that a big concern for them in the long grand scheme of things? Probably not. So I think they'll be quite happy with today of, Vingegaard putting in a good showing, third place, 4 bonus seconds. So it's time into Ciccone and maybe some of the people who they have as the biggest contenders, like the guys from UE Team Emirates, for example. And they see that as a bigger win than losing out to Gaudu, who they've sort of beaten in the past. But I don't think Gaudu should be overlooked. He's, shown in these first couple of stages that he's really good and clearly up for the fight. So I think overall Visma will be happy with today.
Well, we might as well focus a bit on tomorrow's stage as well. What do you think of that stage? You talked about it in a preview show. You'll hear it on the stage preview as well. That, they are going past Alpe d'Huez, but not going up it, unfortunately. But that's not the point. Like, what do you think of tomorrow's stage?
I think the commentators today on the Vuelta were saying that this is going to be, a sprint, but I don't know. I think it's perhaps more suited to a breakaway or for Pedersen, really. I know that Philipsen was kind of saving his legs and stuff, you could say, by dropping early today, but the fact of the matter is, for the third, you're going up a Cat 3, 5.7 Ks at 5.6%, and then the Col de Montgenèvre, which is 8.4 Ks at 5.9%. but the first bit's steeper. And then you got the Col de l'Ortolay, which is 13.8Ks at 4.3% up to the base of the Galibier. Then you got a huge descent through to Bourg d'Oisans and then out of that towards Grenoble. And that's not going to be an easy place for teams to gain back time on a breakaway, because it's very fast. It can be technical at times as well. And, you know, if you've ridden it, then you will know that it's a pretty fast road. Like from the l'Ortolay to Bourg d'Oisans, you're going to be doing that for them, they're going to be doing that less than an hour. It's just super fast. So I don't know. I think it could be one for the breakaway. I'm not sure about the pure bunch sprinters. I think that there's a lot of climbing that first bit, and if Lidl-Trek make it hard with Movistar or some other sprinters or some other teams who have sprinters who can climb better, I think that it's not an absolute nailed-on certainty that you're going to get Vernon and Philipsen at the finish line.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see if they can actually get something out of this as well, Premier Tech. But yeah, should be a good stage. We'll be back tomorrow, so make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let us know what you thought of stage today, and we'll be back tomorrow. But remember, stage 5 is the most important stage of the whole Vuelta, the team time trial returning. We'll be back for that as well, obviously, but stage 4 unfortunately comes in front of that. So until next time, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.